Oh, I'm so excited to be talking with you this morning or this afternoon or whenever it is that people are tuning in. I'm Dr. Nancy Zare. I'm the sales whisperer.
I'm Hirsch Reppoon, and I am the message therapist.
And together we are going to talk about know and sell pointers. And today I really want to talk about the flow of know to sell. I want to talk about that continuum between the messaging and the selling. They're
Yeah.
not discontinuous as many people might think. So
Yeah.
let's take a deep dive first, Hirsch.
Yeah. A lot of people will be familiar with sales and marketing. They'll put sales and marketing together. But when it comes to messaging, uh, they would be right to assume that messaging comes first. But as you're saying, Nancy, they're missing the continuum, they're missing the flow between getting a really great handle on your message, knowing who the message is intended for, and then really segueing into your sales effort and not losing that message.
Yes, messaging is definitely a core of what communication is all about. And it flows throughout the continuum of the sales process. It has to come at the beginning, it has to come in the middle and throughout, and it comes at the end as well. It is a continuum. It's not a one and done type of thing. And would you, for a moment, Hirsch, because obviously you're the expert when it comes to messaging, would you share a little bit about when you work with clients, how it is that it is a flow throughout a process rather than a one time event?
Well, the first thing I'll say, Nancy, is that um, I used to feel a little bit at a loss where I was helping a client with their message, but I'm also not coaching them on sales. And so their goal obviously is to convert their prospect and make the sale. So I realized very quickly that we needed to get together in some of these with some of these clients because they needed as much help with the messaging as they needed with closing clients. And I also realized that it wasn't too early to start thinking about who their ideal audience was because I'm going to ask them that question anyway. So when they come to me, I'm going to ask them, who are you? Let's figure out who you are. I'm going to ask them who best to be served by the skills and gifts you bring to it. And as soon as that question is asked, it's naturally the flow goes to, and how do I sell to them? How do you sell to them? And so that's where you come in.
And I want to insert, how do you sell to them? How do you message to them? Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because selling is messaging. Today, earlier, I had a post that selling is not convincing. And they're very different things. And I think many people mistakenly think about selling as somehow convincing somebody, especially in a manipulative way that somehow paints them into a corner where they feel obligated to go forward and do what you've suggested. Far from it. To me, selling is very much about communicating and influencing in a positive direction by using active listening skills, asking good questions, probing, and helping that person and tease from them and get more information. So, hence, I believe very strongly that selling and messaging are very much akin.
Yeah. And I would go so far as to say that selling is almost the result of good messaging. You come into this to the sales situation, and like you say, it is not convincing people, and that takes time to learn as well, because we talk about overcoming objections again is not convincing them that their objections are wrong. It's overcoming the challenge of resistance that they're meeting the resistance. It's not they're resisting me and my offer, it's that they're resisting the solution for some reason. And is that reason a definitive reason that they should be giving into, or is it simply an obstacle that we have to overcome together in order to get to the appropriate conclusion? But the sale is the result, not an action in my mind. It's not it has a connotation of pushing something on
Right.
someone,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And I'm so anti that. This is not about being pushy and aggressive.
Yeah.
Selling, a good salesperson or a professional who's in a selling mode is not pushing things. They are inquiring, they're listening, they're learning, they're helping to raise to the prospect's attention exactly what the issues are. Now, the issues may be something we can solve, or maybe they're not, but you're doing a service by helping that person express and articulate and message what it is that's going on within them. So
Yeah.
yes, I feel very strongly about the fact that this is, a continuum, a flow. And it starts, as you said, with identifying their ideal audience. Because to me, there's a combination of what I want to say, but to whom I'm saying it to, right?
Yeah.
Who's on the receiving end? There's got to be a blend. And when we only think about, well, this is my message, or we only think about who's receiving it, no, they've got to be meshed together so that the right audience is hearing the right message.
Yeah. The idea is that it's a conversation, right? So you can't have a monologue and have that be a brand or a message. A monologue is not a message. A monologue is a statement. But if you're having a conversation and you say, okay, I know my brand and these are the things that are important to me, and I'm going to be a resource to this type of customer. And that's how it's going to work. And then the customer, the trick at that point is for the customer to find you, because the person who needs A and you have A, but you're not just trying to make the connection, you're trying to be a resource
Yeah.
for that person. That person will need to know about the product, the program, the service, whatever it might be. They're going to need information, and all of the nuances and all of the character traits that go into that. So in that conversation are messaging based.
Exactly.
That's all brand. Staying
Exactly.
on brand, the way you talk to them, the information you share, the depth that your product is able to deliver, the scope, the promise, all of those things. Those are all brand centric, but they're equally sales centric, because the outcome is that person will get what they need.
And it's interesting that we're talking a bit about the outcome too, because the messaging doesn't stop with the sale. Would you
Right.
agree?
Right.
It goes beyond that, because again, part of our brand is onboarding and delivering our services and speaking about them again in a way that is all aligned. You can't have your brand just for marketing purposes and then you discard it, for delivery. The brand has to be consistent and pulled through. And I saw you smiling about that. So
Yeah.
obviously it resonated with you.
Well, I'm a big proponent of continuity and consistency, and that there's great joy, I believe, in being able to deliver on the promise of your brand, and also to continue that brand, so that the proliferation of your own brand is seen in the success of your clients. I say that in order for me to succeed, someone else has to succeed, and that person is the client, the customer.
Mhm.
My success, again, going back to what is a sale, my success isn't the sale. My success is the result. So, we have again another part of that continuum you alluded to.
Yeah, I'm so glad that, again, people mistakenly believe that it's the sale. Our goal is the sale. But when yes, that is a step in the continuum, but the real goal is to see transformation within the client. They're coming to you for a service, a result, and hopefully that's what you're messaging and that's what they're picking up on. And they're saying, I need that, and and hence they align and decide to purchase your service, your product. But it doesn't stop there, because unless that service is implemented and applied, and unless they're able to get the results that they're seeking, you've only gone part way in servicing that person. And I think that's the frustration that many people have with purchasing a program, especially say a video program. There are a lot of evergreen webinars out there, but if they're not applied, then what's the point of it?
Yeah, yeah. Um, and that leads to a much larger issue, and it's something that a lot of us are facing, especially in the service and information industry. I would say in the info product industry, where the product now has to carry our brand, has to satisfy our sales promise, and again, even if it's passive for us in that we've already recorded the course, now when they go and take the course, assuming that it's all just online videos, we have to deliver every video, every step of the way. We have to deliver on our promise, on the relationship with the person. And as you and I both know, and a lot of the people watching know, you're going to get feedback on that course, and that person is going to feel like they've been with you for 10 hours, whatever it is. They've been with you. You haven't been there with them, but everything you put out, they're now receiving. And that's part of the sale. I mean, what's on their mind the whole time? Is it the quality and the benefit that they're getting, or are they bringing their minds back to the sale, thinking, why did I get this? Why did I buy this? Why did I pay for this? That's not what you want. And so the sale is part of the aftermath of the sale is the value.
Exactly, the value. And when the value has been articulated well and messaged well, honestly, Hirsch, the objections go away. To me, it's not about overcoming objections. And I know many sales trainers, coaches, they focus on, here's common objections. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I have to talk to a spouse or a partner, blah, 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 blah. And so there are scripted ways to answer those objections, right? But the truth is that there are no objections when you have truly offered value from the prospect's point of view, not our point of view. The prospect needs to identify that this is valuable, because once they do, honestly, they want it and they will move mountains to get it. And isn't that the kind of prospect you'd want to work with, as opposed to one that you've convinced and sold, right?
Yeah, of course, because that's a momentary thing. What do you want? Somebody with buyer's remorse? Yeah. No, you want somebody who's thrilled that they did it. It brings to mind another side of this, the sales and messaging equation, which is, what about when someone decides that they're not going to purchase your services, they're not going to engage you, and in that it's in their interest to engage you, but you don't want to be pushy, and you don't want to appear as though you're just trying to get the sale. I had that happen yesterday, where I met with somebody and I really believe that I can help them, and they're feeling like it's not the time, and I'm sensing that they're too busy to go for it and focus, and that this solution happens to be the thing that will free them even though they're going to have to focus on it. So I really have their interest at heart. But I struggled for a moment with, do I say anything, or do I just say, okay, thanks, call me when you're ready? And
What
I
did
felt,
you do? What did you do?
so what I did was I said in kind of a way that was a little bit humorous. I
Uh-huh.
said, I said, okay, well, that it sounds a little bit stressful. It sounds like you're choosing the more stressful path, but at the same time, I'm totally honored that you feel like I will be the right person when the time comes, because that's what they said. Well, I'll get back to you when the time comes. So I ended with a kind of a humility and gratitude for them considering my services. But I also started with, okay, it sounds like you're not going to solve
Mhm.
that problem that we talked about, which is driving you a little bit crazy. But I am, at the same time, I always trust my clients to know their heart, and I'm really honored that I am being considered. So I'm here. I'm here for you when you're ready. But I felt good about that.
Yeah. And as you said, the timing wasn't right. And hence the person you couldn't. And again, this is where people want to convince, but
Right.
what one needs to do is share with humility, share with love, share with the focus being on the other person and how best can I serve you. And when
Yeah.
stress is high and the timing, feels like yet another, I can't squeeze it in, hey, that's fine. But then you set up, obviously, the next time you're going to get together. Well, our time has slipped by. I mean,
Wow. Yeah.
really quickly. Before we part, again, I want to just share with people that there's an opportunity for you to jump into the Know and Sell community. And very shortly, we will be having that landing page up where you can learn more about the community. In the meantime, if you're interested, go ahead and in the comments, write the word community so that we can be in touch.
Yeah, and we call it the Know and Sell Insiders community. It's going to be a really interactive, engaging, and unusual way of combining knowing and selling and messaging, and getting all of your questions answered. So we encourage you to join.
Yes. All right. So we're going to end our program and about the flow. I have a feeling there's so much more we could be talking about, so we may revisit this one.
Yeah,
However, to your sales success, it's Dr. Nancy Zare, the sales whisperer, and
and Hirsch Rappoon, the message therapist.